Okay, so the goal is to have a learning experience and creating pixel 3D, sort of like the our place shenanigan, except in 3D. I want to make it with a custom backend. I want to render things in the front end with Unity, and that's sort of all I have planned. I have no idea what I'm going to do or how I'm going to do it or what would be the best way to do it. But my first instinct is to use WebSockets. So the client would connect to the server and it would like receive sort of like a streamed data of what's happening. My only issue with that is scalability, because there's a limit to how many connections at once you can have, and something like HTTP requests don't have a connection for long. You have a request, a response, and then a connection is dropped, and that can mean that you can have a lot more concurrency going on, because if you have 10,000 users, are not gonna all, well, I guess they could, because let's imagine if we use like a response request method. How would the client know when there is something new on the server? So for example, somebody placed a block in this 3D pixels shenanigan, like a voxel, I guess, because it's going to sort of be a voxel. How will the client know when to update? It wouldn't without the server nudging them, but that's only possible if there's a connection made, because the server cannot make a connection to the client. And a way around that would be for making refresh requests once in a while, which, if there's a lot of players and there's going to be a lot of connections being made and dropped, which could potentially be worse than WebSockets. I wonder, but we could potentially do like, I don't know, WebSocket server max connection. So by default, a single server can handle 65,000. Oh, that's a lot of socket, just because it's max number of TCP ports available. That's a lot. I don't think I'll ever have that. I was just thinking that limit would be much lower. How is it possible to get 2 million WebSocket connections when you have I was running a load test when there's a real example in this: multiple general performance servers to play the role of client. Multiple general performance servers play the role of clients. If one server has one fixed IP and it can only provide, then one server is able to open 60k concurrent connections. If you want to emulate two, you need about 34 servers. So I guess what is happening here is if you could potentially have one big ass, you could have one server that has more than these amount of simultaneous connections, because you could have sort of like a bunch of proxy servers that route traffic. So technically you could have multiple connected to a proxy, and that proxy would be connected to the main server, which would only count as one connection for those 65,000. And I guess you also run into like, how can you make sure you're routing like the traffic properly, but that's probably not that complicated. Maybe. I have no fucking idea. But yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with WebSockets for this one. I'm gonna have a WebSocket server running remotely, and the client's gonna connect through sockets. This is gonna start communicating, like place a thing here. There was a voxel placed there. There's gonna be a streaming section at the start, a streaming period, where the client needs to download all the existing data. I imagine that we might want to do some sort of do it in chunks and spread it across time to, for one, make it easier on the server if there's multiple clients downloading it, and for two, it's probably a good idea, because if you send a huge amount of data at once, you might run into more packets being dropped or whatever. I guess we'll experiment and see. So I guess one of the first steps could be to look for potential WebSocket server solutions out there for C#, because I want to keep everything C#. The game's going to be in C#, the server's going to be in C#, and we'll see what we find. But this one looks to be the one with the most stars, and it's MIT. Yeah, interesting. It seems like it has a bunch of performance stuff. 10k connection problem. I guess it's optimized from what I've been glancing at here. I don't like reading. It's just 2 paragraphs. It's about handling thousands of connections instead of, because handling connections is not the same thing as essentially handling like processing data and giving them. Just being able to asynchronously and like respond and react to all these connections and keep them connected. So I see it has a client too. Because I'm planning on using this with Unity, I'm not sure how well that would play with the whole web GL build. I guess, yeah, I don't think it would like it very much. I'm not entirely sure because it's probably using some raw sockets or some TCPs shenanigan. I'm mostly interested in the chat server part. For the Unity, I'm hoping there's some sort of already available WebSocket client that we can use. So native WebSocket client for Unity. That's kind of what I'd like to use. What's the license on this? Apache license. Yeah, I'm not very fond of the license on this one. I guess if it's very good, then I might be interested, but I'm not too worried about the client being... Yeah, the client's not going to handle thousands of connections, so I think I'm going to go with this simple web transport. Kudos to this guy. I know Fishnet also uses it. I'm not very fan of Fishnet, so if it works for Fishnet, it's gonna work for me. So this for Unity client, I'm gonna be using this for the server. This is gonna be running on a Linux machine on IC2 at AWS. We can put it whatever we want. Obviously, when it was locally, we did too. Which looks very cool, very simple to set up. It's gonna be amazing. Oh, I wonder how... I've never set up SSL because I want to go over HTTPS. I have no idea how that works, so I guess we'll find out. So that's the plan. Using this for the server, this for the client. What else are we missing? I guess at some point we're gonna have to have some sort of authentication, like, because we want to limit how fast people can place these voxels. So we need some sort of way to identify who is placing them so we can limit the time in between them placing blocks. Otherwise, they just can spam shit around. But that's a problem for future me. So I guess let's set this up. I'm going to create a new repo where we're going to put all the Unity project files, all the server things, and whatever. So the repo name is going to be... What is it going to be? 3D Pixels. No, 3D Pixels is available. 3D. Oh, I guess because is it local or is it like... I don't know. If I say GitHub, it's local. It's going to be called 3D Pixels. Maybe Web 3D Pixels. It's a little more descriptive. It's going to be public, sure. Git ignore. We're going to add the Unity one. Maybe. I think I'm gonna put both the server and the Unity project in the same repo just so I don't have to manage two repos at once, because I don't want to. I'm gonna put this under MIT. I'm gonna create it. Do you plan on setting up some GitHub actions potentially that could... Ideally, what I'd like to do is, if possible, have the GitHub action connect via SSH to the IC2 instance, and every time I push changes to like the main branch, I'd like for it to go into the machine, pull the newest things from the repo, recompile the program, and restart the server. That would be ideal. And I think it should be relatively simple because we don't even need to worry about building weird shit. We can just do it through command line based stuff. So I never did that either, so let's see. I guess first of all, let's try and get a simple Unity project set up and a simple like console thing. So what we're gonna do is gonna go ahead and 3D pixels. So this is the IC2 SSH key thing. I don't know how that works. It's way too complicated for my brain. We're gonna clone the repo in here. Nice. And if we go inside, we have this shenanigans. I wonder if this git ignore, like, does this mean it's the root or does it work for further in? I think it might be the root. We could potentially, okay, let's open a Unity hub. I'm gonna create a new project there. Alright, so let's do, it's gonna be a 3D core. Isn't there a 3D URP? There you go. Okay, project name, let's just say 3D pixels client. We're gonna make it be inside here. Why can't I create a project? I need to select an organization. Sure. Starting it up. While this is setting up its things, I'm gonna try and move this GitHub ignore inside this, hoping that it's gonna affect this as like, problem. And we can actually check if that is the case by doing git status. Can I do a git status of this? Ooh, what the hell did I just do? Yeah, let's, what if we add everything? Project settings, yeah, okay, that's fine. It didn't add anything from the library, so that just means that it worked fine for me. So let's go ahead and just commit this now. Initial Unity project. Sure. So we should have this here now. Cool, and let's do the same for the server. So I'm gonna create a 3D. There it is, it's back. Server. Did I write that correctly? I think I did. I guess let's look for a git ignore C# project. That way we can just, snatch this from this guy. Thank you very much. And paste this in here so we don't have to worry about unwanted files. Git ignore. Look at that. Nice. So we can add these here. I don't really want to commit for now. Assets. Let's go into the server folder. And we want to create the project. Okay, so we have Unity that's ready here on the other screen. Let's make a folder for this. Configs. I'm just gonna put this inside there. Let's do some free aspect. It's a bit dark, but whatever. Here, the server. Do I have? I mean, clearly I should have, right? Yeah. So let's do. I think it's new, and we'll do a console. Okay. So we have here a new project. And if we do .NET run, we should see a hello world. Hello world, okay. And if I do git status, a bunch of stuff on the client, that's to be expected because I just removed some stuff. And here we got, yeah, so it's properly ignoring the bin folders, what I wanted to see. So commit Unity project refactor creation of server project. And just for, okay, so we have the server in here as these files, and we have the client. Nice, nice, nice. Now, how do I add this dude? I'm assuming it must have, yeah, it's a NuGet package. Okay, so it has the thing already in here, version 7. So if we do this, technically it should just install. Okay, well, I guess it installed. I don't usually work with .NET through the console, if you couldn't tell. Oh, what's oh, I didn't add. Add NuGet package for WebSocket. So wait, this is WebSockets. Okay, WebSockets protocols. Cool. Chat server. Secure chat server. Interesting. I wonder, I guess it's just going to be loading some sort of license, not license, key or whatever. Here comes the example. Oh, this is all in the README. Nice. Use the following char SSL context. Oh yeah, here it's loading the certificate. To use. That should be the same thing. Multicast admin message to all session. Oh, that's an interesting. It's nice to have that. Probably don't want to use that when you have 10,000 connections, but okay, enough of that. Let's try and get some sort of anything happening from this. So I'm gonna go ahead and open the project, Visual Studio, sure, and we're gonna try and get some sort of hello world going on. I guess it's already has this hello world. I just want to see if we properly install this netcore server in there, and I want to get it compiling. I guess let's just see if the namespace is detected. If so, potentially we'll work on the GitHub action to try and automatically have it run on the IC2 instance. I'm not entirely sure how we could verify that that is working with just a program that instantly shuts down. We could have it linger, but then we'll see. So here's the solution. Open this. So I hate this new. Can I get the old thing back? Thank you. Actual namespace depends on the name project. Voxels server. This should still. What if I run it? Yeah, it's still. Yeah, the namespace doesn't really matter. It's still properly executed. And if we try and access this dude's netcore server, so say using net-7, there it is. I mean, it seems to be there. So we'll call it a day for now. Oh, what is this garbage? Solution. I don't want to save a solution. Do we want to save a solution? I mean, I guess I am gonna save a solution. I don't exactly know why, but hey, let's add those. Commit, changed, started, template. Right. Let's try and create a workflow that does some shenanigans with our key. I mean, for one, I guess I should probably do this while I'm paused. I'm curious if this is a text file format. Right. So it is a text file and it does have a private key, so I'm not going to show it. But on my repo, I'm just going to go over to the settings, to the actions, I think, no, secrets, actions. I'm going to go ahead and add it as a secret. And there we go, I just added it. This is just the content of the PEM file. This is what it's needed to be able to, have permission to access the machine, which is clearly why it's a secret and why I'm not going to show it to you. Anywho, let's create a GitHub action. I just want a simple action, please. Well, actually, let's see GitHub action connect to SSH, another machine. Like, I'm wondering how that would work. Like, once I connect through SSH, will the next command run inside the machine I just connected to, or does it have some weird shenanigans happening? Remote SSH commands. Executing remote. We're using this bad boy's thing. Host. Oh, I do need to add the host as well. sure port script. That sounds a bit like, what if I want to run multiple? I have to put this for every single one of them, or can I run multiple scripts in succession? Oh, there you go. Who am I? ls. Okay. And this is cool because it seems to be outputting. I guess this is the result of the who am I. Anyways, what I was going to say is this seems to be outputting the console's output directly, which I guess isn't that surprising, but this would allow us to make sure that the hello world message is being run properly and that we are doing things correctly. So I do think I'm going to be using this. I'm going to snatch this example from this guy. I'm not sure I need to add it to anything. I think just being able to reference it like this is going to work fine, but we'll find out. And the way these work, if I'm not mistaken, I should probably verify this, but it works like you create a .github thing, and then you create a workflows folder, and then you create your workflow. So here I'm going to say, I guess rebuild server.yml, and then inside here I'm going to go ahead and plop in that thing. Here I think is just, the way I connected to it. I think it was just IC2 instance that I said. I don't know exactly what the username for it is, or what the password also means. This is actually interesting. Can I, because I didn't think of this sooner, can I do it with a PEM key? Proxy host username, oh, proxy key, protecting a private key. How to convert with key, anyway, using a private key and multiple comments. So this is essentially what we need. The port, I'm just going to send this default port. For this guy, I'm trying to figure out what command I used to connect earlier. But I think I just said EC2 user. I'm not sure it's even important. Okay, so a username. I mean, I can verify this easily actually. So if we forget LSS, what's the thing to print the files? We need to go one down, one up, I guess. We're here, so we have this file. The way I connect it, I believe, is SSH I file IC2, and then I need to put in the IP. I need to connect. I've been calling it IC2, but it's not IC2. It's EC2. Permission denied. User? There you go. How can I quit? Doesn't matter. How to quit SSH Control D. Okay. Yeah, so this is the user. It's EC2 user. Where am I? Here. The username, it's this. Password, I'm not using the password. I'm going to be using the secret key, and it's secrets.ec2. So it's the thing we created in here. Actions, secrets. It's called EC2. Port, I'm just going to put a 22 in here. The host, it's this bad boy. I mean, people are going to connect to it anyways. As for the WebSocket, so it's not a big deal to have it in like that. I guess if in the future you want to change it, get out as a secret, easy to change, propagates. You don't have to change this file ever again. And I want to do, where's the example? I want to do the multiple commands so I can see the results of of the ls, because I have some files in there. I was experimenting a bit with the machine, so we should be able to see it. I think there's also a dispatch, workflow dispatch. There you go. Oh, it knows. Thank you, VS Code. Which just allows us to manually run this. That way we don't need to keep pushing things to test. We can just trigger it, which is nice and dandy. Yeah, let's see if we did things correctly. by going into here, status, yeah, add commit, add workflow, push that. And if we go to the repo, we have the workflow in here. If we go to actions, look at that. Our workflow showed up in here. It seems like it's already running. I guess because I did push, so maybe it's triggering on the push that I just did with it. But look at that. I created a ACT user project because I did it in the root folder, so it just did the thing. It's working. We managed to run an SSH command in there. I'm surprised how easy this was. So now we just have to run our commands in succession that will run every time we push. That way the server is always up to date and we don't have to, SSH in there, pull the stuff, rebuild it, kill the old process, put the new process. It's gonna be instantly. We could even test with a remote server all the time without having to test it locally. Even though testing locally is a good idea. But yeah, this is very nice, very nice. I guess I'm gonna leave it for now. I'm gonna take a pause from this. We have set up something bare bones, but I think it's a good start. Lots of good foundations. We got a good server thing that we're gonna play with. I guess before I actually quit, I want to add the simple web transport to my Unity client. Just make sure everything compiles fine and that we have no issues. Does it have, is this a package? Doesn't look like it. Mirror, what is this? Oh, it's got already, I see. How, this looks way too complicated. I guess it's the source that we care about. Oh, and this is a package. There you go. Okay. There you go, path. Well, I guess I did have it correct. Would you look at that? I guess it does. It is kind of an intuitive name. And then we need to put the package name. So let's go in here. It's the name of the package. This should sort of just work? Question mark? Git. Okay, I need to specify that this is Git. No? Git HTTPS is not supported. Okay, let's go back here. Git plus, I guess. Or the HTTPS. There you go, seems like it's doing a little more work now. Installing packages. Nice. Low level, bada bing, bada boom, installed from that. Cool. So git status, git add, git commit, added simple web transport, client and server to Unity. So we should find it right here. So we have client, common, server. Awesome. Now I'm happy to leave it like this. So, good starting point.